By now, everyone is probably aware that the iPhone 16 has this new camera control button. And recently, I have absolutely hated the button and frankly haven't even used it and have found it annoying. Although that recently changed. So recently, I took a trip, and when you're taking a trip in a cold environment and you're wearing gloves, the hardest thing to do is interact with your iPhone. Now, you still obviously want to take pictures, and that's where I found the camera control button to come in really handy, as it is a physical button that you can click to open the camera. So if you do a double click when your iPhone's locked, it'll open right in the camera. And then now you just have to press or swipe to get controlled. And this was what made the experience absolutely great, as when I was wearing gloves that weren't touch sensitive, although my camera control button was still able to sense that I was pushing and tapping, and then when I wanted to take the picture, all I had to do was click the button. Now, I would like to see a way to change between photo to video to slow-mo to cinematic and every other option that we have in the camera app, just because being able to change modes would just make it so much easier, especially in my use case where I was wearing gloves and I couldn't use it. But my iPhone's my main camera, and knowing that I don't want to miss a video or a shot and can control everything now with this added button, as there are tons of options, whether I want to control my exposure, focus, zoom, camera I'm using, styles, or tone, let me change even more. Let me add in the focus mode and stuff like that. Now, I did change it from just the zoom, which I typically leave it on, to the cameras option, and this allowed me to quickly change from a selfie to the back 3 cameras. If I want to take a photo using the 0.5, 1x, or 5x, I was able to do that right from the back, right from the camera control button, which was absolutely amazing. And then I can also go ahead and change it to zoom and scroll through the zoom options to zoom in to make sure I get that close shot, even though I'm a bunch of feet away. Now, the camera control button works no matter what mode you're on in your camera, so if you go ahead and go over to video, you still get essentially the same controls of exposure, zoom, cameras, and that's it. Now, this menu stays the same, although features are missing, so you can't access the depth of field because you can't do that with a video. You also can't access the styles or tone. So I personally didn't care about that. I just want the ability to be able to change which mode I'm in. So if I want to go from photos to videos and vice versa. And frankly, I think it could just be another thing, right here at the top, just like mode, and then you can like enter the mode and then scroll through the mode. But knowing that I had this now dedicated button to take pictures really made my life a lot easier, because I was able to go ahead, shoot photos just like this, click the button in, and I had no problems. I didn't have to worry about missing the shot. But what we do have to talk about is the iPhone shutter lag, because the camera control button kind of eliminates it. I've noticed if I click the camera control button in, it would take the photo pretty much immediately. Whereas if I would use the volume button or touch the screen when I took my gloves off, it wasn't really taking it the second I clicked it. It was kind of like, oh, you clicked it. All right, now we're going to have a delay, and then click it. So I might have missed some shots and stuff, but because of live photos, you can always go ahead and go back in and edit them by changing the key photo. If you click on the 3 lines, hit edit, and then it'll go ahead to show you that timeline essentially, and you can go ahead and change the key photo to be the photo you truly want it to be. And this is really nice just in general, because if you take a photo but miss the initial shot, sometimes you can still go back in time essentially and grab that photo using live photos. But now, and I've said it before, let the camera control button do more. I think frankly this is going to be the future of iPhone buttons, just because of the fact that it can truly do anything you want. It has all of these menu options essentially as is right now, and camera. So just imagine you bring it to the power button and you can give me back, slides power off, maybe a reboot if I want to reboot my iPhone instead of powering it off and turning it back on, or doing the volume up, down, holding the side button. That would be really nice to have. And also just the typical hold in for Siri, and then volume buttons. You can, get rid of both of them and just have it a swipe up to be increase, swipe down to decrease, and stuff like that. I think that'd be very cool. Now, if Apple is going to kind of go full in on this camera control button, which I frankly don't think is going away, as we recently got visual lookup with iOS 18.2, and I frankly have not used that once. I've used this camera control button a lot more for taking photos recently, and I am absolutely here for it. I know they said in the past I wasn't, but that's besides the point now. But I do think that case manufacturers are really going to need to get on this, and I know there are some that have partnered with Apple, like OtterBox, and that's actually the only one that comes to mind right now that has a legitimate camera control button. But seeing just how nice it was with gloves on to just swipe and interact with a button that is flush to my iPhone case, because I am using the Apple Clear case, was absolutely amazing. I frankly don't think I could imagine using the camera control button as much as I was without if there was a cutout here in my phone case. Now, I also just don't like cutouts in cases, as I think that defeats the whole purpose, because something like this is leaving a part of the phone exposed and the sapphire glass button exposed. So the covering of Apple's case I really like. So if you're in the market for an Apple case or the clear case, I mean, this has been my favorite clear case. I have used these for probably the past 4 or 5 years now, and I really don't have any complaints about them. You get the MagSafe integration with the magnets on the back, the color when you put the case on, as well as now the covering of the camera control button, which I am absolutely loving. But let me know what your thoughts are about this new button down below, because it really grew on me after this past trip, and also just using it more and more in my life now, because I find myself using it just click, take a photo. Or now if I'm doing a landscape photo, as I've said in the past, I used to not like where it's placed, and now I've kind of gotten used to it. I just have to be on the right mode, as now I just kind of grab it like this, click, and I'm good to go, which I really like. And while you're down there, if you want to hit like and subscribe, I'd appreciate that as well. And I want you to remember that today's a good day to make a great day, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.